Deus Ex Mankind Divided's pre-order system prevents people from receiving all content available, and Machinima has settled with the Federal Trade Commission over paying YouTubers for positive Xbox One press. What do these stories mean for you? My name is Mooseman, and I am here today to inform you of that very answer on this episode of PC Gaming News Weekly. Deus Ex Mankind Divided has created a new pre-order system similar to Kickstarter, where the number of people who pre-order the game directly determines how many rewards will be given. There are 5 tiers of rewards available. However, if you pre-order the game, you will only be able to choose a single item from each tier, which is the main controversy surrounding this system. This means that even if you pre-order the game, you will still be unable to claim all the content, in addition to excluding people who do not pre-order the game at all from receiving any of this content, which includes an exclusive mission, skill boosts, in-game money, skins, a digital art book, an OST sampler, a digital comic book, a novella, and a 4-day earlier release if all tier objectives were met. Well, I've never really seen the reason people get all up in arms about most pre-orders when they only include skins or some arbitrary bonuses. When a level is taken out of the game and turned into a pre-order incentive, it is then that I begin to understand their frustration. And it's important to see this level as being taken out of the game for the direct purpose of being a carrot on a stick for pre-ordering. The primary reason incentivizing pre-orders with exclusive in-game content is extremely abhorrent is because it forces the fans of the game to put money down preemptively without seeing any reviews, not because they want to reserve their copy of the game, but because if they don't, they'll be missing out on content that may not become available post-launch. When you pre-order for a bonus that doesn't affect the quality or length of gameplay, you are doing it because you're interested or excited about the game enough to want to support it early on. While there is a chance that this extra level could come out as DLC or be given away at a later time, there is no guarantee of that, meaning if you are purchasing the game at a later date, you may be unable to purchase the game in its complete form. Imagine if you went to a retro gaming shop and purchased an old copy of Super Mario 64, only to find out Rainbow Cruise was a pre-order bonus back in 1996 that you will never have access to. This is the kind of dangerous circumstance that these games create when they gate important content behind pre-order wall for gamers who can't afford the game or discover the game beyond launch day. While I think that the extra level is the most egregious part of this pre-order system, the tiered system is what is unique to this game that makes the situation even worse. The tiered system not only requires you to essentially pyramid scheme your friends into pre-ordering so you can get the content you actually want, but it also limits the amount of content you have access to. While I don't personally care about each individual skin or some of the art book stuff, there are quite a few hardcore fans and completionists who will be unable to get some of the content without buying multiple copies of the game due to being able to only choose one option per tier. It is possible to get all of the items from the pre-order section if you buy the collector's edition, but there's only a limited number of them, in addition to the collector's edition costing $150. The tiered content system is designed not with the user in mind, but with advertising in mind. When you end up trying to convince your friends to pre-order the game just to get additional bonuses, you are effectively acting as a direct advertisement, and one that is extremely effective compared to a traditional commercial. The next story I have for you guys reinforces that notion even further. Machinima has settled with the FTC regarding a campaign they were responsible for back in 2013 promoting the Xbox One. Machinima paid its YouTube partners money in either lump sums or an increased revenue per view for creating videos based on the Xbox One and the game Rise Son of Rome. While doing sponsored events promoting a product is nothing new on YouTube, the Microsoft-funded campaign required that participants not say negative things about the Xbox One, in addition to avoiding showing or talking about bugs present in the game. There was also no requirement to disclose that the video was sponsored, resulting in videos appearing to be opinion and critique videos rather than advertisements. This is not only ethically immoral, but is also illegal under FTC law, which is why we're seeing this story in the first place. While it may not seem like this is PC gaming related, it most certainly is, because it shows that when it comes to gaming, whether it be on console or PC, the influence that YouTubers are gaining in terms of non-traditional marketing methods is astronomical. As more and more people move away from television, install ad blockers, and generally just dismiss traditional advertising as a waste of their attention, companies are relying more and more on non-traditional methods of advertising to get people to remember and buy their products. If you follow any popular YouTuber, you have probably seen a commercial or an endorsement of a product made by the personality as opposed to a traditional ad as dished out by Google's ad service. Even with my Play, Wait, or Avoid series, while I'm not getting paid to make reviews by developers, I still get a majority of my games by Steam keys, not because the developers are being nice, but because if the game gets a positive review, it directly helps sell the game better and cheaper than any form of traditional advertising could accomplish, which is why it's so important to realize when editorial content has been paid for and why it is illegal in the first place and not disclose when a video is monetarily sponsored. The problem is that while it's a huge milestone that the FTC took action against Machinima, the action they took has been pitiful. They essentially let Machinima off with a simple warning and threatened to fine the company up to $16,000 if they reoffended. While this may seem like a huge sum of money, it's important to note that Machinima paid $15,000 and $30,000 to Sky vs. Gaming and the Syndicate Project respectively, meaning this fine at its max would barely surpass the amount for a single paid video. The even worse part is that the only reason this deal was exposed was because of how widespread the program was. It was only because someone broke their non-disclosure agreement with Machinima that this deal was even revealed, calling into question how many more videos are out there that represent not the true opinion of the reviewer, but an opinion bought with cash. The final question I want to address is, who do we end up blaming? Do we blame Microsoft for attempting to market their product? Do we blame Machinima for creating and executing the program? Or do we blame the YouTubers for making content under false pretenses? The FTC seems to think that Machinima is solely responsible for this situation, and I have to agree. While Microsoft is the one who ultimately bankrolled the operation, it was Machinima who designed the program with the intent of breaking FTC law. While the YouTubers should not have taken this positively biased deal in the first place, and should have disclosed their involvement regardless of the requirements, I still think that Machinima is primarily to blame in this scenario because of their position relative to the YouTubers. YouTubers partner with multi-channel networks such as Machinima for the express purpose of protection, guidance, and opportunity under the assumption that the events and opportunities that they are given have been screened beforehand and are within the bounds of the legal system. YouTubers give a percentage of their earned revenue to these companies to protect them from legal troubles and assist them in understanding the laws in which the videos fall. Because being a popular YouTuber does not necessarily mean that you are educated in the laws surrounding digital media. The Machinima event organizers end up being the ones who are absolutely responsible for knowing, understanding, and conveying the law to the YouTubers who are part of their network. Both of these stories today show that advertising is changing into a new form. A form that uses the people you trust and the people you respect to convince you to buy a product. While it may be a sneakier and less genuine form of advertising than traditional ads, it also gives more power to you as the consumer to have the opportunity to look at hundreds if not thousands of different opinions online to make the final judgment on whether or not your product is truly worth buying. And that's why in my Play, Wait, or Avoid videos, although I stand by every verdict that I have ever made in the series, I write always research your games before purchase. Because being educated and informed on a product is the best way to beat these advertising schemes. That wraps up PC Gaming News Weekly for this week. Don't forget to subscribe for more news, reviews, and other gaming commentary. And since we have such an interesting set of topics this week, I would like to hear your opinions in the comments down below. Are you bothered by the Deus Ex pre-ordering system, or do you plan on still pre-ordering the game anyway? And what is your stance on disclosure, and who should take the blame for this breach in FTC law?